when we talk about glass partitions, what do we often address from an acoustic perspective?
Glass partition internal works surprisingly well. Glass as a material can be acoustically very interesting to work with. It depends a lot on how the construction it looks, because sometimes it is easy to achieve 45 decibels, sometimes hard to reach 30 decibels. What we often deal with are problems with ventilation, not a question of partition nearby buildings. So the partition, if everything's fine, it's okay. Do it very efficiently and relatively economically. If it isn't, then we have to make up for it somehow. Better glass, and that usually becomes a complication that has, as a result, the partition is more expensive.
From acoustic perspective, is better glass, thicker glass?
It generally usually means thicker glass, because if regarding soundproofing, we definitely need to have some material that has some bending stiffness. We use glass ordinary and special. With an acoustic film, that glass with the acoustic film can have by 2 to 3 decibels, sometimes even better sound attenuation. That means it is in the perception until a 50% better feeling from such a partition.
That way we have resolved the partition itself, but then we have openings in the partition. I assume that with the doors will be the weakest link in the part.
That's always a challenge indeed, you're right. When we compute partition doors, so we actually count the partition as well as a composite structure, and those doors, then of course they affect the overall result. It is a problem considering that we usually design doors to the full height of the room. Typically, in such a design, the doors are already technologically difficult and manufacture them to be perfectly straight and rigid. Another thing that comes into play greatly often it is that we do not have a transition under the doors. A strip or material would be acoustically suitable. Carpets are used there, and in that case we lose on the partition, sometimes up to 8 decibels. So even if the partition very well executed, then these doors really can overall worsen the result, and quite significantly that it needs to be addressed further. It usually means that the carpet, generally, it must be cut out, also cut through the floor. Under that carpet, it is usually a raised floor. Basically follow the catalog details they have, manufacturers of floors, walls, and ceilings. If these details are followed, I think it's not a problem to achieve values we have tested in lab.
From the designer's perspective, there are some most common mistakes.
There is definitely sometimes an imbalance in those projects, because it often happens that we often have on the floor. For example, doors that have the highest possible acoustic performance. Of course, it's unnecessary because there's no need to give the same doors specifically for the kitchenette as utilized for the purpose of the director's office, or into an office where some mental work is being done by an activity with calm. The difference significant in cost, because such doors that definitely already have the required acoustics of 37 decibels or 23 decibels, that is a huge difference, double the price. Perhaps a greater focus on consultation in advance with companies, professional companies, such as, for example, with us, which can fairly well recommend materials in a comprehensive and detailed manner. We have experience with how things work so that the result is aesthetically pleasing to the overall cost, the execution of the work optimized and thoroughly ideal.
If we are talking about doors, I know that we had a very interesting project where we used, and this room we're in now currently, the acoustic chamber.
Such doors, a product, did not exist on the market yet. We used several well-known and highly effective solutions that we, in our project, knew they actually existed, and we actually made a solution tailored for us. We use measurements in our chamber. They were verified that the solution works, and create a custom-made product, customized for this case, this project.